I think I might have bought the shortest player on record. He's one of the top players in his country, and he's had 2 very good seasons in the Bundesliga. And he has one very nice hidden attribute. He's very good at hiding in the grass. Let's go and kick some balls. Hello and welcome back to Norwich, the Alex Ferguson save set in the future, part 14, season 3, about to begin. And yes, I do believe I have just bought the shortest player that I have ever bought in my entire FM life. But before we get into all the shenanigans that have been happening in the transfer window, I think this is a good time to check out the season review for last season. And it was perhaps one of the best seasons that I've had also in my FM career. And so let's have a quick look at the season review and the new arrivals to come in this year. There were several new arrivals, and top of the pile was Zapropoulos. He had a very good season in the end. He started quite slowly but finished the season very, very well. He ended up with an average rating of 7.15 in his 36 appearances. Andrado Silva, who came in as a centre-back, 35 appearances with an average rating of 7.13, another good signing. Ahanach, who was 34, he came in from Manchester City and had an average rating of 7.09. He played 29 games from the start and did very well. Craig Sutherland, who also came from Manchester City, only made 12 starting appearances but made 12 from the bench. He finished with an average rating of 7.06. Very good season, and he could go on to do much more. And then Reguan, centre-back, who came in from Rennes. He had a very good season too for a first season. Played 13 times, coming in the winter transfer window. He finished on a 7.01. And in terms of the results, it was quite a remarkable season. There is nothing else I can say about it. We were supposed to finish in 15th place, but we have excelled and we have finished in second. We had a real shot coming into the last 3 games of winning the title, but unfortunately we let ourselves down against Liverpool and it never happened. Maybe next season, but the board obviously are very excited. And in terms of the FA Cup, it wasn't a great campaign. We lost to Chelsea in the 4th round, 3-2, and in the Carabao Cup we lost to Newcastle 1-0 away in the 3rd round. In terms of the cups, it was not a great performance, but it was in the league where we excelled, and we went on several good runs, and we were very unlucky not to win the title in the end. But in just our 2nd season here, I'm quite happy to finish in 2nd. In terms of the moments to remember, we did have a 6-0 victory in the Carabao Cup against Fulham, and we beat Leicester by 3-0 away from home. These are the fans' moments to remember, and the goal of the season was scored by Fortes, which was that thundering volley that you saw late in the season against Bournemouth, and I called it then that was the goal of the season. Our reputation has stayed the same, and the finances have done very, very well. It always surprises me that the broadcast revenue goes down the higher up the table you achieve, but I can't understand that. Financially, though, it looks pretty good for the club. Shirt sales, 37,310 sold. Wilden, of course, being the top shirt seller, with Puk, Kitambala, Fortes and Zapropoulos, no surprises, making up the top 5. The first 11 looks very, very good, and you can see where we are having a few problems. We still have problems at centre-back and at left-back. We are very strong up front. We have a very good goalkeeper now, and I think that Silva and Reguan will make a good partnership, but we do need to bring in a centre-back. We will also need to bring in a defensive midfielder, a DLP, and we probably need to bring in a young striker who can rotate with Neil and Wilden. And moving to the accolades, Kitambala was the fans' player of the season, J. Neil the young player of the season. Signing of the season was Andrade Silva. Goal of the season, as we know, by Dimitri Fortes. Lewis Wilden, top goal scorer again with 22 goals this season. Prince Kitambala had the most assists with 14. Most Player of the Match awards, Kitambala 5, and highest average rating was Jay Neal. Most passes completed per 90 minutes was Marco Antonio. And competition awards, Lewis Wilden for the second season in a row became the English Premier Division top goal scorer. And Young Player of the Season in the Premier League was Jay Neal. And what an absolute gem of a player he is going to be. And we did have a very good season. Our job now is to build on that and to become a better team this year. We need to make some signings. So let's move on and find out what has been happening in the transfer market. If you are brand new to the channel and you like FM content and you love to see people suffer playing this game, then you are probably in the right place. So why not subscribe, like, watch and comment, help the channel to grow and help us to support that very worthwhile cause that you can see scrolling up above. This channel has been set up to support the British Heart Foundation. And so let's go and take a look at what has happened in the transfer window. And there have been a number of players who have gone out, but only two major names you'll see. Ollie Banks, centre-back, he went out to Wolves for 3.9 million, rising to 4.4 million. And the other big name going out was Eduardo Pari. He went out to Fiorentina for 5.25 million, rising to 6 million. We've let a number of players go out on loan, and there are some very good prospects in there who we are going to be keeping a very close eye on. Matthias Andre, who is a centre-back, he's almost ready for first team football now. We are hoping that after this season he can move to first team duty. We also have another centre-back, Daniel McDonald, who is developing very nicely, and we are hoping that as a 20-year-old he is also going to come through and be a member of the first team squad. Perhaps in a year or two we'll be keeping a close eye on him as well. And then a striker, Kieran Phillips, who actually had a very good pre-season covering for Wilden, who has been injured unfortunately for the entire pre-season. He has just returned from injury, but unfortunately he isn't going to be ready, I don't think, for a game or two. But I think this Kieran Phillips, who we've just allowed to go out on loan, is developing very, very well. He's 21 years old, and I hope he has a good loan experience and comes back ready to come into the first team as well. And there are a number of other younger players who also could break through into the first team in the future. But let's go and focus on the players that we have brought in. And the first player to come in was Lee from COR. He came in for £7.5 million. He is a central defender. He's got bags of pace. He's a very, very physical player. He has decent mentals and he's not bad technically. He lacks a first touch, which might be a little bit of a concern, and his composure is also a little bit of a worry. But we needed to bring a central defender in who was younger than what we had, and his value has increased quite considerably in the time that he has been here. And then we brought in Yu Hosoya from Marseille for £14 million, rising to £16.25 million. He is probably the shortest player that I have ever signed in FM. He's 5'4", that's all. He's just a very, very small player. I'm actually going to be looking forward to the first time he scores a headed goal. He has bags of pace though, he's got great mentals, and he's also quite a good technical player. He is probably the top player in Japan at the moment, and he's had a very good season out on loan in Germany, and he has also had a good season for Marseille prior to that, and so he is someone I'm looking forward to seeing play, despite the fact that he's only 5'4". I don't know, have you guys ever signed anyone smaller than 5'4"? I would be really interested to know. And our latest signing is Ovidiu Muntin. He's come in from Dortmund on loan, and he is a right back. Can play centre back, but I think we'll be using him as a fullback on support. He is a very physical player, has great mentals. He is a very, very good player. We do have an option to buy, and I think that is set at £34 million. I don't know if we can afford that, but I needed to bring in a fullback for a little bit of depth on that side. We only had two very young boys on that side of the pitch, and so I'm hoping that he's going to come in and be the business. And it's great news that he can also cover as a central defender. And so it hasn't been a very busy transfer window, and it wasn't my intention for it to be very busy. I think I would like to do what Ferguson did and develop these young boys. We have Giroud, we have Jay Neal, we have McSweeney already. I think there are a lot of other younger prospects like Zakarioka, like Mbemba, a lot of young boys who could become very, very good players. And some of those out on loan at the moment may also become very key players in this team. And so also I don't think I want to be focused on winning the Premier League or doing that particularly well in Europe. I think I want to be focused more on the cup competitions. Alex Ferguson won the FA Cup within 4 years, and so what I would like to do is either win the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup within the next 2 seasons. And that is something that I really want to focus on this year. It really is a year for consolidation. I would like us to qualify for a European competition at the end of the season, but I want to focus mostly on the cup competitions this season. We need to get off to a good start, though, away at Brighton. I think it's now time to go and kick some balls. And so the team for today away at Brighton in the first game of Season 3 is Gotts in goal, with Allen, Lee, Reguan and McSweeney at the back. Ahanach, Fortes and Zaprapoulis play in midfield, with Puk, Kitambala and Jay Neal up front. Lewis Wilden will start on the bench, and maybe we might see him get a few minutes towards the end of the game. It will be nice to see Wilden back. He's been pretty much injured for the entire pre-season. And I hope that we can get off to a good start here today. I want to be impressed today. Go out there. I need a strong defence. I want us to dominate the midfield. And I'm looking for an edge from Jay Neal in attack. And so the first game of the season is underway. And Brighton have started the stronger of the two teams and have had pretty much most of the possession in the early stages. We have pushed the line back a little bit because I'm worried about them popping balls over the top, and we'll have to see how that goes in the early stages. But we need to be also winning the ball, which we have done just about. And here is Lee. Lee finds Fortes. Fortes back to Lee. Let's have a good game from Lee. He's a very, very good player. He finds Allen. Allen looking for Ahanach, and it's very, very slow at the moment. Teams just having a look at each other. There's a ball over the top looking for Neal. It doesn't find him. We've picked up the loose ball again. Puk finds Neal. Neal is in. Neal has scored. He went straight through the goalkeeper. I think we were a bit fortunate there. It is Brighton 0, Norwich 1. That was the start that I wanted. And Jay Neal, I'm not quite sure how that went in. It seemed to go right through the goalkeeper. I think there was a bit of the supernatural about that. It just seemed to go right through his body. I think it just went underneath his left arm. But for a moment, I don't know how he scored that. We are in front, and Jay Neal just is continuing to where he left off last season. What a great player that boy is going to become. And we are in front, and that's where we want to stay. Brighton are not really worrying us too much at this point in time. They haven't created a single chance. But what is worrying again is we cannot seem to get shots on target. And it looks like we do have Fortes, who has to come off. He's taken a knock. That would be a big blow if he's out for a while. And I won't be too happy about that. I don't want too many injuries. I am a bit light in midfield, to be fair. But I do have Puk, who can come back and play as the DLP, which will add an extra midfielder. Jay Neal can also play as a centre mid. So hopefully we will just about survive. I do have some money left in the transfer window, and I'm not quite sure where I want to strengthen at this point in time. Maybe I'll wait and see who gets injured long term, because I'm pretty sure someone might. Alan picks up the loose ball at the back, and he finds Sapropoulos. He's looking to bring it forward down the right. Need to look inside, and all the way back to Lee. Lee, very composed. He's looked very composed in pre-season. He just doesn't seem to be in a rush. He just has a look around, sprays a pass. I like the look of that player, and I hope he's going to have a very, very good season. We are spraying the ball around quite well. Lee is very much involved at centre-back there. He's started to develop a good partnership with Reguan, and maybe we have got a decent team. It's nice to have young boys developing, playing together. There's a lovely pass through to Sapropoulos, has made it 2-0. And we are on the way this season. What a beautiful pass. I think it was Jay Neal who put him in. And Sapropoulos said, thank you very much. And it's now Brighton 0, Norwich 2. Reguin Ahanach, who's 35 years old now, but still in good fickle, and Sapropoulos put that away without any problems at all. I think it might have been Kitambala who got the assist. We are looking good, and at the moment it's Brighton 0, Norwich 2. What a good start this has been. And there's another chance. It's gone to the far post. What a chance, and it's headed in. It is Bertrand who's headed it in. It is now Brighton 0, Norwich 3. What a start. This is exactly what I wanted. I think I made the right decision to pull the line back a little bit, and Bertrand did very well there to follow up that ricocheting ball, and from the penalty spot he's headed it in. It is Norwich taking Brighton apart. This is a great start, and here comes Pook. We're not finished yet. Pook finds Kitambala to Bertrand. He finds Ahanach, he's looking for Reguan bringing it forward, finds Lee to Ahanach. We're absolutely dominating them. Here is Pook. Pook has a chance, and it's well saved by Pujol in goal for Brighton. We're absolutely taking them apart, and we're ahead on the scoreboard and deserve to be, and I think that's just what I'm going to tell them. And I think we need to go and build on that now, and let's go out and make some more. Let's go and get it 5-6-0. Let's go to the top of the league, streets ahead of anybody else. Let's show everybody we are a good team. And there is another corner into the near post. It doesn't find its target. McSweeney is going to pick it up at the back. He's looking for Pook to Sapropoulos. He's looking all the way back to McSweeney. What a find McSweeney was. He's over the top to Pook. Pook into space. Pook has scored. It's somehow gone in, but I think it's going to be disallowed. I think Pook was offside. I cannot see that being allowed. If it is, the goalkeeper made another absolute howler, but it has been disallowed, and it remains Brighton 0, Norwich 3. It was, I'm not quite sure, I think it's here, yeah, Pook was offside. McSweeney's pass was an absolute delight over the top, and we are 3-0 up and looking good. Brighton have hardly been in the game. Neil needs to bring that ball down, he can't do it. Neil, who's probably not having the greatest game that I've ever seen him play. He does have a goal to his name, though. And McSweeney is bringing it forward. He's looking back now for Reguan. Terrible pass from Reguan, and Brighton will look to build. We do have men back. And here is Rossi. Rossi looking very wide. They look like they are trying to get it down the flanks at the moment. And it wouldn't surprise me if they get one back very soon, just to give us a little warning, but that's nicely cleared. Neil needs to pick it up and hold on to it. Look for support. He finds Kitambala. Kitambala finds Sapropoulos. Zapropoulos calms it down, finds Allen to Lee. Lee's having a very solid game. Here is Pook. That's a terrible first touch, but Neil is in space. Can Neil put it away? Of course he can. It was a silly question because he just drove it into the side netting. It is 4-0, but is he going to be given offside? It has been disallowed again. 2 offside goals, but what a strike that was. How silly of me to believe he couldn't put that away and question it. What a strike that was. But it's still Brighton 0, Norwich 3. I think it might be time to make a couple of changes now and to rest a couple of the boys, but we'll do that after this highlight. Zapropoulos looking with free kick into the box. What a chance! It's gone wide of the post from Bertrand. It's still 3-0, and I think now time to make some changes. And so we have made our 5 changes, and Muntean gets his debut, and we've brought on Wilden for the last 20 minutes to see if Wilden can get himself back into some sort of shape and get himself on the scoreboard. And I don't know if I want to tight mark a midfielder. We've already got ourselves closing him down. And at the moment we are in control of the game. Lee is not having the greatest of debuts. He's only on a 6.7. But I think he's had a very, very fine game. He's looked very composed on the ball. Sutherland decides to pass the ball away, but has won it back. Sutherland barging into his tackles there. But unfortunately, we've given the ball away again. This is not good. I need to shout at them and demand more. Just because you're 3-0 up, it doesn't mean that you can relax and take things easy. And there's a long crossfield ball. We need to intercept that. Well done, McSweeney. He finds Sutherland. Now he needs to spread the ball around. Finds support. Lovely pass over to Wilden. Wilden makes it 4. It's a brilliant start to Wilden's season. He hasn't been on the pitch very long, but it's like he never was away. What a pass that was. And then Wilden, one touch and bang into the roof of the net. It was Sutherland who brought it forward. Brilliant pass, one touch, bang, and into the corner of the net. And we are 4-0 up against Brighton. What a start to the season this has been. I hope it's an omen for things to come. This young team just never ceases to impress me, and we are going from strength to strength here. It is Brighton 0, Norwich 4. Muntean has taken a knock, which is unfortunate. Always going to happen. Nice work, everyone. That was good stuff. We need to check on these injuries to see how bad they are, but can't ask for a better start than that. It was always a tricky fixture, Brighton, but we've done very, very well. Muntean is injured, going to be out for 1 to 3 days, and unfortunately Fortes is going to be out for 7 to 9 days. But we do have Wilden back, and he is on the score sheet almost immediately. We're going to work our way through the transfer window now, and we'll come back in September for the Leeds and the Manchester United games. And that's it for this video. If you are new to the channel and you like FM content and you love to see people suffer playing this game, you're probably in the right place. So why not subscribe, like, watch, comment, help the channel to grow, help us to support the British Heart Foundation. And so all that remains to be said from a very happy manager is we will see you all in the next episode.